Today, I want to talk you through the operating system I've built for how to show up online as a quiet expert. I call it my Wise Web OS. And before I do that, let me get into why I built it to begin with. So, my whole career was in tech operations and project program management. And when I started my web consulting business, I knew exactly how to onboard a client, share progress reports, test features, get feedback, iterate and release, launch a project, and of course, operationalize and maintain it. My problem wasn't doing the work, it was getting the work. And I ended up building Wise Web OS because I didn't feel like there really was a way for someone who is naturally introverted like me to be found online for what we really bring to the table. I was watching other consultants with big and bubbly personalities who, quite frankly, were not actually very good at what they did, but it felt like they were practically printing money. I thought to myself, there really has to be a better way for us, for the more introverted, for the techies, the nerds, to really shine in our own way without having to put on a performance and do a dance. And I don't even know what else. All I wanted to do was do good work and help people, the right people that I could truly serve and support. So I put in the reps, did the research, looked at all the tools and technology. I tried a bunch of things and figured out a system and a philosophy that felt really right to me. And when I operationalized it, people not only knew me, what I was up to, they actually trusted me and they wanted to work with me. So if you're a quiet expert like me, if you're a consultant, a coach, or a fractional leader, or even someone just looking to stand out in the job market, this might be interesting to you. But before that, I want to give you a little bit of background about myself. I grew up around tech. My dad, also a business owner in LA, taught me to assemble computers. He taught me HTML growing up. And I have degrees from UCLA and USC. My master's degree is in communication management. My first job was actually a lifeguard and a swim instructor. But let's say my first office job was as an IT technician. That quickly evolved into a project role when all of a sudden I had supervisors and managers and directors coming to me asking me, hey, my team has this problem. Is there a tech solution that we can apply to solve it? And so that role as a tech eventually evolved into a more project, like, I don't know, implementation role. And then at some point, I decided to get my PMP, the Project Management Professional Certification, issued by PMI, the Project Management Institute. And shortly after getting that credential, I joined the team at Hulu as a senior technical program manager. I was there during its most explosive growth phase where our revenue grew from 3.5 billion to 10.7 billion, and our subscriber counts doubled from 22 million to 45 million. And my job was to make sure those 45 million subscribers had access to Hulu anytime, anywhere, on any device, no matter what they wanted to watch, no matter what time it was, no matter how many other people were watching. And I led the company's #1 tech priorities and projects. And a couple years ago, I left the team after the Disney acquisition. And that's when I started building Wise Web Ops. So I won't get into the how and the mechanics of it all, but I want to show you the parts of my OS, my philosophy, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We have 3 main domains. We've got you, your assets, and then your systems. So let's zoom in. You is everything we need to do to be clear, authoritative, and authentic. This, I know, might sound fluffy initially, but this is really critical because people's attention spans are so short and there's so many fake it till you make it people online, and there's just so much like really bad AI. I personally love AI, don't get me wrong, but there's so many people out there using it horribly. So I want you to realize we really need to pay attention to these three things. And I know that it sounds super simple, but it's so important. Now let's zoom a little bit in here. It's so important to have this kind of clarity, not just in yourself, but across everything that you do online and how people see you. And across your assets, we'll talk about that in a second. But you need to make sure that in the first 7 seconds, when someone sees your profile, a post, or your website, it needs to be super, super clear about who you are, what you do, and how they can do business with you. Now, next we have authority, being an authority figure. So what does that mean? Textbook tells us it's power to influence or command thought, opinion, or behavior. Now, I'm not talking about authority in the sense of I'm telling you what to do, go do it. I'm talking about people listen when you speak. Your voice has some sort of weight behind what you're talking about. And the way that you create that online is very different from the way that people are used to creating that in person. It's a very different space online. And the way that we need to do that is, again, to be clear, authentic. We need to be recognizable, reliable, and trustworthy as well. Now, last but not least, my authenticity manifesto. This is what I came up with over the last couple of years, where I was figuring out from a philosophy standpoint, like how I want to portray myself as a quiet expert, right? I'm going to talk through what we don't do and what we do. We don't self-promote, we tell stories. We don't advertise, we share with intention. We don't sound like a robot, and we do not create AI slop. We keep things conversational and we show up authentically. And we don't just follow trends and we don't do things for likes. We are here to connect. We don't just say things. We don't just say what we do. We show, and we don't just tell. And I like to add these as a techie myself. We automate and delegate the things that sap our energy and sap our time. Your assets. This is what we strategically build. This is by way of your LinkedIn profile, for example. And if you're on a different platform, you can plug, anytime you see LinkedIn here, you could plug that in with whatever other platform you're on. I personally love LinkedIn because I feel like it is a platform where professional people go for advice when they're looking for help, when they are, people are generally like on LinkedIn when they're intentional. I just find that I resonate a lot better on that platform with the mindset of people there. So that is where I am. You will not find me on Instagram and Facebook right now. It's super important that your profile, no matter which platform you're on, tells people, again, what we just talked about in terms of the clarity of who you are, what you do, and how people can get in touch with you or how people can do business with you. We want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is searchable, findable, that it is out there for people to discover. And then at the same time, your website, we need to make sure that it's search engine optimized and LLM friendly so that people can find you when they are looking for you, whether they know your name or not. And then what is a really strategic flow ends up being sharing something on LinkedIn that sends people to your website, that then sends them into your email list, or from LinkedIn directly into your email list if you don't have a website, or you can mix things around, right? So then we have the simple stack. We just chatted about the front end, so I'm not going to go over that again. Then we have the back end. We have, for my business, what's super critical is my calendar and my way to send out my newsletter. And then, of course, taking payments, right? And so on the back end, I have Cal, Kit, and Stripe. And then I have integrations running in between. Then we have processes and automations. So we have ongoing operational processes and automations that can be monthly, weekly, quarterly, whichever, your cadence. For example, for me, I like to have weekly tasks and monthly tasks for, let's say, my posts, and then my emails, as well as like blog posts to my business website. So then we also have things that are triggered in our automations that can be for time-based things, action-based things like onboarding closeouts, retention flows, reminders, client and prospect flows, and funnels. I'm not going to run through all of the other processes and automations that we've built. We're back here. There you have it. That was my Wise Web OS. Looking back, I really wish that there was someone who could have showed me this stuff earlier, because honestly, I spent a lot of time and energy trying to figure this out solo. If you found this interesting, please find me on LinkedIn. My name is Elena Nairi Mirzayan. I would love to hear from you. Shoot me a DM saying OS. That way I'll know that you saw this video. I hope that it was helpful and that you learned a thing or two. That's it for now. Create a productive day, and I'll see you in the next one.